Hello, I'm Mr Nelson of Asian Great Life, and I just wanted to explain to you a little bit what you can expect when you come and have a regression hypnosis session with me. All right. So I have been doing holistic work for quite a while, and I refer to myself as a holistic wellness practitioner. I just kind of like the term. I think it's kind of what I do. The hypnosis that I do, I call Holistic Soul Hypnosis, and it is just really hypnosis itself that I incorporate with the other practices that I do. So I have the regression hypnosis, which is absolutely beautiful. And then along with that, I also couple NLP. I couple it with Reiki, with crystal healing, and with angel healing. So the reason why I use NLP is because NLP, in a very congested nutshell really, it is the understanding of how the human mind works, how you process information, and also how you absorb information. So when we do the induction, which is the process where you are being hypnotically induced, where you become really calm and you become really focused, because really that is what hypnosis is. If I have an understanding of how your mind operates, it is just easier to get you into the hypnotic state. And of course, the benefit with that is that we have got more time to then work, to do some work in the actual hypnosis itself. Also, when you recall information, everybody doesn't recall information in the same way, because our minds are not the same way. We are all different, and that is the beautiful, fascinating thing about human beings, which just gets me so excited. I just love humans. I absolutely love people, and I absolutely love the human mind. And the better understanding that we have, or that I myself has as the practitioner who does the induction, the better we can obviously do it for you, which is the beautiful thing. Also, the better I can help to recall the information. And of course, with Holistic Soul Hypnosis, we also deal with future life progression. That is usually more towards the end of your session. But I would ask, for example, if you have to picture your ideal life, what would it be like? And what are things that are important to your life, that you would like to have maintained? And a very simple example that I often like to use, because I find it is an example that people relate to quite easily. They quite understand it quite easily. So if you say that in 6 months' time, you would like to be financially independent, it is entirely possible, because whatever you place in the subconscious mind is what it will provide to your conscious mind, or to your conscious experience of life. But we also want to make sure that it serves you in the most positive way. You don't want to be financially independent in 6 months' time, but then, with all the opportunities that came up, that you maybe lost touch with your family and your friends or your loved ones, or you just made yourself sick. So we want to make sure that you get all the benefits, but it continues to serve you in a positive way. For me personally, that is very, very important. So after our session is done, and 2, 3, 4 months down the line, when the work still continues, because the suggestions have been placed into your subconscious mind, that you still benefit from it in a sense that it serves your life in a positive way. And that is very important to me. And that is why I absolutely love incorporating NLP with hypnosis. Okay. It's also very good for really just cementing those thoughts and beliefs that is going to serve you in a positive way. It's just a beautiful way of cementing it into your subconscious mind. Because whatever the subconscious mind believes about yourself and believes about life, that will become your experience of life. And my aim and my goal in everything that I do has always been that I want you to live a beautiful, positive, productive, happy life. I am very passionate about that. I'm very passionate about people. I'm very passionate about people succeeding in their personal lives. And that is why I'm going to say it again. That is why I just love coupling NLP with holistic soul hypnosis. The reason why I like to use Reiki with hypnosis, because Reiki is a beautiful modality, whereas the energy of the universe, or the positive energy of the universe, or the power that created us, flows through the practitioner into the auric field of the client. And also, Reiki energy is very clever because it's universal, beautiful energy, so it knows where it needs to go. I like the idea that in a Reiki treatment, you don't need to touch the person, because sometimes people are uncomfortable about being touched. And that is the one thing that I love about Reiki. You don't actually need to physically touch the person, so that's beautiful. For me, that's beautiful. But also the Reiki energy can be incorporated into the session to ensure complete spiritual safety, but also to release energy, or to help release energy that may be stuck, or that doesn't serve you in such a positive way. I am very, very blessed that I am a born intuitive. So basically meaning that I've always been in contact with the angels and the universe and source of all, which is my name for God. So that is really fantastic for me. I remember when I was a child, I was actually a very clear clairvoyant, where I would actually see people that have passed, but I never understood really the difference between somebody that's alive now and somebody that actually passed. To me, it's always been very much the same. As I grew older, interestingly enough, I got slightly less clairvoyant. But also, obviously there was some fear. I was telling people, I began to realize that everybody wasn't seeing these things that I'm seeing, which is fine, because I find these days I actually have a lot more claircognizance, which is just simple knowing. So I will just, one moment I won't know something, and next moment I will know it like an encyclopedia, which is great. But so as I've been practicing Reiki I've been doing Reiki since 2013, so it's been a number of years. So in my Reiki practice and in my Reiki studies, it seems that my psychic ability has just expanded. And also another interesting thing that sometimes happens is when you have a regression session, a regression hypnosis session, not necessarily just with me, but with almost anybody, because you connect to the universal energy, and you just kind of become more open to the universal energy. There have been people that have reported to me before that somehow it's like their psychic ability is just unlocked, or more advanced, which I can completely relate to, because it seems like every single time I have a session, it just seems like it expands more and more and more, and it is just beautiful. It is just absolutely beautiful. I must be very honest that I feel for me, it is the biggest blessing to be able to do what I do, because I serve a very active purpose in expanding the global consciousness, but also helping individuals live a more prosperous life, a more happy life, a more abundant life. And everybody has their passions in life. For me, that is my passion. I love to help in any way that I can others succeed. I love to see people succeed, and for me, that is just an absolute beautiful blessing. And I must say that I've never, when I was younger, I've never much felt that I had a purpose in life until I started doing holistic work. And for me, that is my purpose. And since I've come to understand that is my purpose, and that is what makes me happy, I can't even explain it into words. It is just such a blessing that I am able to do something that not only makes me happy, not only enhances and expands my life, but also makes other people happy. So for me, that's a beautiful thing. The way that I use angel healing in my sessions is, sometimes we need to do entity removal, or once again, you've got stuck energy. For those of you that may not know what entity removal is, sometimes you can have energy or energy forms that are kind of stuck to your energy forms. If you want to think of yourself as a piece of metal, that is yourself as a soul that has a body, and a soul that's having a human being experience, and then the other entities, if you want to think of them as magnets, so they kind of like attached to you. And a big misunderstanding that there sometimes is, or that I often come across, is that an attachment is always a negative thing. That is not always the case. One of my very good friends, Marcus van der Westhuizen, who is, he is just amazing. He is a crystal healer and a Reiki master. He does shamanic work. He is just incredible. He's been a very big influence on my life. And, the way that he explained it to me once, that got me understanding, it is sometimes you will put a tag on a fish because, or scientists put a tag on a fish because they want to monitor where it's going and what is its mating habits and where is it going to swim to, what time of the year and wherever the moon may be and all those type of things. And sometimes you will find that what we refer to as attachments kind of do experiments on us, but also, once again, not necessarily in a negative sense. They might actually just be curious. How are we as souls having a human being experience? How are we conducting our lives? How are we having our experience of life? How are we doing that? So they might just be curious, Something you also come across sometimes is that sometimes an entity might not be aware of the fact that it has a negative impact on our lives. In fact, it may think that we're not aware of it at all. The same way that we would assume the fish is not aware of the tag in its tail or its fin or wherever it is. So I feel it's just very important to understand that even though there are some darker energies out there, sometimes there are energies that don't have the best intentions in mind for us, it is not necessarily always the case. Also, something that Aurora speaks about. Aurora, obviously being the beautiful channeler. I think she's from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a fan, and I'm not even sure where she's from. But it is to look at all attachments as energy or spirits that may have lost their way home, because we are all one. Not only are all human beings one, but all of existence is really one. And the wonderful thing about these sessions is that not only can it help yourself, but it can also help to lead this entity, this energy, the spirit, the soul on its way back home. And that is where the beauty of angel healing or angel healing practice comes in as well. Just in the most basic terms, really, Archangel Michael being the angel that will release what doesn't serve you in a positive way, and beautiful Archangel Raphael just coming with healing. And a very simple way to think of that can just be, or even a way to incorporate into your personal life, can just be of thinking of Archangel Michael assisting with getting what doesn't serve you best. And then Archangel Raphael coming in and then healing the wound that may have been left behind. So you have a beautiful, prosperous life as you're going forward into your experience of life. So NLP helping with thought patterns, Reiki just with the energy. Reiki is a whole topic all on its own, but it's incredible. Angel healing being just a wonderful thing, because angels are always around us. Angels are always happy to help us. And something that has been communicated to me by the angels is that a lot of times when we are able to channel and we are able to do all these wonderful, beautiful things, for the angels, there is almost like their little party trick. It's almost like something on the side, and it doesn't diminish the value of it in any way whatsoever. But it is just that it's almost like a side beautiful benefit that comes along with it. The angels and the fairies and even Gaia, our beautiful, beautiful host, they just want to have a beautiful relationship with us. They just wanna celebrate the oneness that we all have. Okay. All right, and then lastly, I think one of my big passions in life is crystal healing. And a very simple way to understand how crystal healing really works, kind of like crystal healing 101, is crystals emit energy. If you want to think of it, say maybe in pH levels. So a crystal will emit a certain pH level that doesn't change, so it remains the same. The human body consists mostly of water. Water can very easily absorb energy, and so if it absorbs the energy of the crystals, it changes the structure of the water. So whatever the pH level of the crystal is, it then goes into the water, and that is the long and short of how crystal healing works. But it's absolutely amazing. Something about crystal healing, or I would rather say the way that I really came to, I would really say, fall in love with crystal healing. And I even wrote a blog about it. I've got a blog that is going on. It's called the AHN Great Life blog. It's a WordPress blog, and it's 3 words: AHN space Great space Life. And what happened is, it was the 31st of December 2014. Yeah, 2014. Sorry, I had to think about that. But what happened is, I always had a lower back problem. Somebody accidentally dropped a piece of wood on my head when I was a child, and even though my heart brain survived, it hurt my lower back. And so I've always had problems with my lower back. And I remember this one particular December 2014, it was just horrible. It was just horrendous. And it was also a very stressful time in my life. I was very stressed about money. I was very stressed about work. I was very stressed about a lot of things. And subsequently, that obviously had a negative impact on my health. But my back was so sore that I could hardly stand up. Everything was painful. And I went to the doctor, got some medication. I actually went twice. And it helped a little bit. It got a little bit better. And then my cousin invited me to go cherry picking with her. And I love adventures. And so I went cherry picking with her. And I never knew that cherries grow in trees. I don't really know how I thought cherries grow. I just assumed it was like strawberries that's somewhere on the ground. I just kind of know cherries from when you find it in a container in the shop, because my mother was a baker, or is still a baker. So I never really put too much thought into how cherries grow, even though, interestingly enough, I grew up on the country, but there were no cherry trees where I grew up. So I saw these trees and I got so excited, and you get your little bucket and you can go pick whatever you want. And there were black ones and there were red ones. And I was like, wow, like a pure child. I'm very young at heart and I love it. And so I was up on this ladder because my back was better. And of course, at some point, the ladder fell to one point and I followed the ladder and I landed on my back. And it was so sore I could hardly stand up. And I had to go to work the following day. And halfway through my shift, I gave my friend Marcus van der Westhuys, and I sent him a message and I said, listen, Marky, I know that it's the 31st of December, but I'm in a lot of pain. Is there any chance that I can come to you for a session? And I went there. I went for a 2-hour session. I was in so much pain. I couldn't really get onto the bed. He kind of had to help me. But 2 hours down the line, my back was completely sorted out. And I mean, So let's take the beginning of 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. We are now in 2019. So that's a number of years ago. I have never had a problem with my back again, ever, not even once. And I mean, that is something really fascinating, you know. So that is when I really came to realize that there is more to crystals than just looking pretty and just being nice. And oh, wait. Sorry. Correction. It was the 31st of December 2015. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that it is just incredible. It is just absolutely amazingly incredible. And then, of course, I became very fascinated in crystals, and I wanted to learn. And that is why I like to incorporate it into my hypnotic sessions. It also helps to kind of like, you know, get you induced faster or to deeper levels of state. It helps you with visualization. It helps with sometimes to just access the spiritual realm or the soul plane, which is just amazing. But I mean, just in a nutshell, really, the sessions that I do, so yeah, it's all about finding out. In every session, I always focus on what is your soul plan, what is your purpose for being alive, why are you here on earth, why did you incarnate into earth as a human being? Because in my own personal life, I must say, there was a time in my life that I was very unhappy. I felt I had no purpose. I felt there was no reason for me being alive. In fact, I was quite suicidal at the point. And I just wanted to go home to heaven, you know, or where I came from. And I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be a human being. And obviously later on, when I started to find out about, you know, QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, to the videos of Dolores Cannon, and of course later on it was developed into the beautiful modality BQH, Beyond Quantum Healing, by Candace Crowe-Goldman. I mean, these practitioners, the work that they do is just beautiful. This is beautiful, holy, divine, soul purpose work. And for me, it is such an honor and it is such a blessing to be able to do this work, you know, because it is also through holistic practices that I practice myself and receiving treatments that I came to find that my purpose in life was to help others. That gave me not only hope to live, but the desire to live and the happiness to live. And that gave me the courage, because when I grew up very poor. I had no confidence. When I was 23 years old, I have been raped. And all of these things kind of set me on this, almost like a trip that you want to call it, on this rat race, where I was constantly running away. I have had a lot of jobs in my life. I have lived many places in my life because I was always just running away. And of course, I didn't consciously think of it as running away, but the moment somebody got too close to me and I thought that they might see who I am, they might see my pain, they might see my lack of confidence, they would see that I'm not perfect, you know, what I would consider perfect, because I thought that everybody was judging me when they were looking at me. But it was through receiving holistic training and holistic practice, and through regression hypnosis and things that I personally came to find my purpose in life, and that I am a very happy man, that I'm so happy to be alive, you know, and that my past doesn't define who I am anymore. And if there's one thing that I am very, very, very passionate about, and if there's one thing that just opened my mind, I would say, is that I know for a fact that there is nobody on this planet that cannot turn their ways around, that cannot enhance their experience of life. There is no such a thing as you are too far gone to still have a good life, regardless what your age is, regardless what your circumstances is. I remember when I was very young, there was this lady in South Africa that had a television show. It was called the Felicia Mabuza Shuttle Show, and her name was Felicia Mabuza. And she always used to say, it is not about where you come from, but it's about where you are going in life. And, you know, as a consequence of my past, you know, growing up poor, having no confidence, being raped, moving around a lot, because when you move around a lot, you keep on uprooting yourself. So your life never really gets on track, because when it just starts getting on track, you move away again. And at some point, I was actually on drugs at a point, which just happened. I was doing a lot of cocaine. Occasionally I was doing ecstasy. I think it was for about 8 or 9 months where I was living off cocaine, ecstasy, energy drinks. There was one particular energy drink, but I won't say the name. But I was living off energy drinks, coffee, cigarettes, occasionally water. I hardly ever ate. I was really thin. As you can see, I've got very high cheekbones, I've got very big lips, I've got big eyes. But if you look at me, a picture of a couple of years ago, I look sick, you know. I thought I looked sexy, but I did not. I really didn't. And then also, as I was much younger, at some point I won't really say in the modeling industry, but you know, I was like having some pictures taken, and I was like in television adverts and stuff. A very few, not a lot, because as I said, I didn't have confidence. But you know, and I felt that I looked perfect because I was so thin and things like that. But of course I wasn't, you know. I've been abusing alcohol for many years. I had many negative thought patterns in my mind. And I would even encourage you that if you are not open to a session just yet, you know, even get yourself something like the book of Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life. When I really started working in that book, it is really when my mind started to open. It is when my life started to change. And even though I'm a Reiki practitioner, I'm a crystal healing practitioner, you know, I do NLP, I do angel healing, I do tarot card readings. I absolutely love tarot card readings. I absolutely love them. And because obviously time and space, you know, doesn't really exist. The great thing with that is with those modalities, I don't have to physically be with you. I can tap into your energy field and do tarot card readings. In fact, it's something that I do on a very regular basis, and I love it. I absolutely just love it. And then with regression hypnosis, it can also be done via Skype very successfully. I've even had some sessions via just a voice call, which actually work quite well. But I personally prefer to have my sessions. I prefer to have them in person, because for me it is just so beautiful when somebody is in this hypnotic state, because you are completely calm and your features are so relaxed. And I remember that Alba Weinman, who's also an incredible hypnotherapist, she's actually got a lot of videos on YouTube with sessions. So maybe if you want to see what it looks like, what it sounds like, how the sessions go, if you want to have an idea, you can Google Alba Weinman, you can Google Aurora, and you can even Google my beautiful friend called Christelle Duffy, who's got a lot of voice clips also on YouTube about these sessions. But as I said, I personally just, because for me this is not work. For me this is fun. For me this is me living my purpose. For me this is me fulfilling my purpose, my reason for being born. And I remember there's many things that I'm passionate about. You know, I'm an author. There's many things that I do. I personally happen to be very creative, which I think is just great. But I remember that Oprah said something, and she said that the way that you know when you found your purpose in life is because you will actually do it for free. And I remember when I first started off, I was doing a lot of hypnosis sessions for free. I just absolutely love it. But then, of course, also when I spoke to my best friend in the world, Alondra Coleman, and it actually, you know, she brought me to the understanding that if this is what you like to do, if this is what you love to do, if this is your passion, if this is your purpose, if this is how you like to help people, then it only makes sense to take money for your sessions. Because obviously, if that is not going to pay for your livelihood, because you're still a soul having a human being experience, and you still have human being needs. You need a home and you need to eat and those type of things. So those things are still required. And Amy Fligo, who also does Reiki, and she posts a lot about that on Facebook, also speaks about that. But when you get the understanding that what you do is really beautiful work and this is what you want to do, it only makes sense to take money for it, because if this is not going to pay for your livelihood, then something else is going to have to pay for your livelihood. But yeah, so that is just a little video about myself. This is just a little video about what I do, about my views in life. Also, the reason why I just kind of want to talk about myself is because I feel that it's important to get an understanding of who I am, to know if I'm like the right hypnotist for you. I've also written a blog about that actually, on my Age and Great Life blogs, because I feel that it's very important that you must feel that I am the person that you want to have the session with, because it is such beautiful, sacred work. It just gives me so much joy. And and also obviously my voice and my accent, because this is how I sound. And this is the only way that I can sound. I'm from South Africa, and there was a point when I was living in the States, and I really can't do an American accent. In fact, I can't really do. I think I was just born to be original and authentic, If I like, this will be my American accent, and I know that American people, when they listen to it, they will be like, that is not how Americans sound. So that is just a bit of silliness, but and also I grew up in the country. I grew up in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country in a place called Tsitsikamma, which is it's a San word, like the Bushman really. And if you wanna translate it, it just really means place of many waters. And it rained a lot. It rained a lot, and it's beautiful. And as a child who was an empath, I would go and lay in the forest for hours and hours and just be connected and happy, So I wasn't